Our fourth fish has been added to the Red Sea Max Nano tank. Some great purchases under £15. We've also officially published the Gems of Reefing British Isles edition 2021, and we've had a little bit of Cyanobacteria. You've guessed it. Let's roll those titles. My first aquarium, this little Red Sea Max Nano, has almost reached the 7-month mark, and so far it's gone pretty well. It's not been easy. I've had to do a lot of research and speak to a lot of reefers, and now I think it's time to dip my toe into some small polyp stony corals, some SPS. Now, it's always been my plan to have a mixed reef tank. I think they look stunning, and that top shelf of the aquascape has been reserved for some lovely SPS sticks. Now, SPS are notoriously difficult corals to keep. They strip and lose colour just by looking at them, or so fellow reefers tell me. So it's always put me off, but I want to take that risk now and take that step to getting some SPS corals. I've had lots of advice from people on the live stream, in the reefing community, and also on Instagram. A big thanks to Reef Sys on Instagram. He's helped me out quite a lot. People are recommending that I go for something that's a relatively easier SPS to keep, something like Digitata, maybe a Platy Montipora or some Stylopora. These tend to be the easier ones to keep. Now, SPS need really good quality lighting. They need a lot of light each day. They also need to have quite a lot of flow around the sticks and the plates, and also they need to have relatively stable parameters with low nutrients. Now that leads me on to my first little issue, because this week I've actually had a small patch about 5 centimeters of Cyanobacteria on that top shelf of the aquascape, and if I want to have some SPS successfully growing in this tank, I first of all need to sort out this nutrient problem and the Cyanobacteria. So here's a little video of me fixing my Cyanobacteria problem earlier on in the week. Right, let's take a little look at what I've spotted in the last couple of days. So hopefully you're getting this on camera. It's just down here. This is, I believe, you can tell me if I'm wrong, this is Cyanobacteria, or red slime, one of the oldest life forms on Earth. It's a photosynthetic bacteria, so under these Radian Gen 5s it's only going to grow if I leave it uncontrolled. It's got some small bubbles within it, and it does appear to disappear at night and then come back during the day, obviously because it's photosynthetic. Now, there's a little bit of mystery about Cyanobacteria in reef tanks. Some people believe it's because of the lack of flow or a dead spot, but mine is right next to the Jabo power head, so it's clearly getting enough flow there. It can be due to alterations in lighting. Maybe it's a bit of a dark spot, or the lighting is a little bit old and needs to replace the bulb. That could cause it. Or the third one, which is what I think my Cyanobacteria is caused by, is actually swings in nutrients. So nitrate swings or phosphate. So there we go. My phosphate was 0.022, then dropped to 0.11. It's now back up to 0.23. So this is the issue that I'm facing with my tank. My phosphate is up and down like a roller coaster at the moment. Now, Cyanobacteria is a really common issue in reef tanks. Most reef tanks actually have some element of Cyanobacteria at some stage in their journey, but it is controlling the nutrients, stabilizing those nutrients. These swings in the nutrients is what's causing the Cyanobacteria. But right, don't laugh, but I've got the the Nitrate Checker out again. Seem to have this out every single week. So my nitrates there are 1.98. And hopefully you're getting this. So I'm just going to stick the siphon right next to the cyano, and then get in there with the toothbrush. Hopefully you can see this, and brush this off. And as soon as it's brushing off, I've got the head right over the top of the Cyanobacteria, and there's a suction going on here, and it's sucking it hopefully straight out of the tank, exporting those bacteria out of the tank. Whatever you do, do not just brush Cyanobacteria or use a power head on it, because the bacterial spores will just spread throughout your tank. You've got to have that siphon head right on top of it. to try and get it straight out. Now hopefully that has worked. So it's now 4 days later, and this is the exact peninsular piece of rock here on the top of the aquascape that once had the cyanobacteria on there. It's not an issue. Most aquariums actually develop a little bit of cyanobacteria, and it's not it's quite a healthy sign of a reef tank. It's just that as reefers we don't really like the look of it, so we try to manage it in many different ways. But just using a large water change and then siphoning it off appears to have worked, and I always go for that natural remedy first. If all fails after that, then we can try things like dosing a little bit of vibrant. I've also heard really good reviews of products such as Cyano RX, and if it gets very widespread in your reef tank, then a product called ChemiClean is supposed to be very good at removing any cyanobacteria. Now, it was the only spot that had the cyano, and it does now appear to have gone, but I'll keep you updated, see if it returns back in the next few weeks, but it's looking pretty good for now. Let's head back to the studio. I've got two little products that are less than £15 that are going to change the way that you look at your reef tank. Now, we spend so much money on these reef tanks, we want them to look on point and at their best. Now, this first little product is nothing new. I think I'm just slow and late to the party with this one. Many of you watching this video at the moment probably already use this product, but if you don't, by any chance there's another one like me and doesn't use it, it's called Fritz Glass and Acrylic Cleaner. This product is absolutely fantastic. Now, it came as a recommendation from Bucksreefer on Instagram. Really great guy. He's got two beautiful little nano tanks, beautifully stocked with corals. He's also into his torches as well, so give him a follow and watch his journey. But yeah, he was on a live stream on Instagram and he was using this stuff. I'd never heard of it, and then I chatted to a few other reefers and they were all saying, yeah, it's really good, it's a really good product. So I've given it a go, and let's have a little look at the results of this stuff. Glass and acrylic cleaner, you spray it directly onto the surface, and it's the difference with this is that it's ammonia free and it's aquarium safe. So if you get a little bit of residue inside the tank or into the water, it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect your fish and your corals, unlike normal glass cleaner. You can spray it directly onto the glass, onto a cloth. So let's have a little go. So put it on, there we go, and buff it off with the little microfiber cloth, making sure that's nice and clean. And that has brought up that panel beautifully. I've just spent a couple of minutes just buffing up with a microfiber cloth after using the Fritz glass cleaner, and look at that. The tank now looks on point, and we spend so much money on these tanks, the corals and the fish. You want them to look their best, and this little product for just over a tenner is really giving a good finishing touch to all the glass. The D&D lid, I've done the diffuser light as well. I am super impressed, so give it a go, guys and girls, see what you think. But I'm pretty impressed with the finish there, and it kind of just ties off a really nice water change and makes the tank again look on point. You know how people say that you're not dressed unless you have a smile? Well, I don't think you've cleaned a reef tank unless you've used that on the glass at the end. And as part of my maintenance now of water change, filtration change, clean the sock out, clean the filter floss out, I'm also adding this to my little step at the end, cleaning the glass. It's really good obviously for the glass at the front, but also on the Max Nano we've also got this glass panel at the top there as well, and the gloss plastic at the top there gives it that extra shine. So I'm absolutely loving this glass cleaner. I picked it up from Kraken Corals. It's available from Kraken Corals for less than £15, and I've also now got the latest sticker. So thanks to Dom and the team, the sticker is looking awesome as well. Now you'll probably also notice that it's actually not just glass cleaner, but it's also acrylic cleaner, and that leads me on to my next little purchase. Now, many of us reefers enjoy the reef tank, but also many of us reefers are also photographers. So I was following this guy on Instagram. Now, if you haven't checked them out, please check him out. He's called Coral Fish Zoa, and he has the most stunning imagery of the fish tank looking really pale blue, and I was just so in awe of the effect that this has got. So I wanted a little bit of this action, so I messaged Coral Fish Zoa, asked him how he got his tank looking so perfectly blue, as clear and blue and turquoise as the natural ocean, and he came back to me and told me that he uses white high gloss acrylic behind his tank. So anybody who's into reefing and into photography as well, this could be something really for you. So high gloss acrylic is really affordable. I mean, this sort of sheet size for mine would only cost a couple of pounds. Well, I say it would cost a couple of pounds. My wife purchased this for me as a little bit of a gift, so thanks to her. I really appreciate it. So it didn't cost me anything, it's a bit of a freebie because she treated me to it. So this is what he uses behind the glass on the back. Now I purchased my white gloss acrylic from, if you live in the UK and you're watching this from the UK, there I'll put a link in the description, the acrylic store, theacrylicstore.co.uk. So I purchased from there. As you can see, you can enter all the sizes that you want. So what I did quite simply was I got my little tape measure and measured the width of the glass from side to side, and then I measured from the water line because I didn't want the acrylic to be above the water line and then to the bottom of the tank there. So it fits kind of perfectly. They cut it to size for me and it will fit, as you can see, just like so on the glass. Now I went for the high gloss white, which is obviously you get the most reflection, get the most blue, the pale blue colour. But I also went for the thinnest, which is 3 millimeters in thickness. Now the beauty of this is not only will you get that effect when you're doing the photographs, I have taken a photograph actually using this as my second to last Instagram post, so check it out on Jay's Real Reef UK Instagram. You can see how blue the picture looks. That's with no filters, it's just running the Radiant Gen 5, and I do have the blue version because I do like the blue effect of the water. So the Radiant Gen 5 blue and the white acrylic back, and I'm getting that effect. But the reason why I went for the 3 millimeter is that actually the magnets behind the wave maker will hold it in place, so the magnets are strong enough to go for the glass and the acrylic. So I'll show you that in position so you can see what I'm on about. So this is what I'm talking about here. As you can see, my acrylic just goes up to the water line, so from other angles you can't see the acrylic, which I didn't want, and there you go. So it's only 3 mil thick, and the magnets are what are holding the acrylic in place. So it's kind of a temporary hold, there's no adhesives or anything, so there's no damage to your tank, and the chances are that you might just put this in place when you're making a YouTube video, sharing a video with friends and family, or uploading to Instagram with a few pictures. But it's a great little tip. Coral Fish Zoa, thank you so much for telling me how you get that blue, that really pale blue turquoise effect on your tank. I'm loving it, and I'm going to have many more pictures using this white high gloss acrylic. It's a great little purchase for less than £15. Makes the tank look amazing. Hopefully we've not bored you too much, and thank you so much for watching this video so far. Now I know this is the bit you've all been waiting for. What is the 4th fish we've added to the little Red Sea Max Nano? Now I know some of you cheeky YouTubers have probably jumped to this point, so make sure you watch the whole rest of the video after you've seen what fish it is. Let's have a look what we popped in on Friday evening. So I've watched a few videos about the ideal fish for nano tanks, and I've gone with, I don't know if you can see him down there, he's a bit camera shy. Hopefully he's not going to be too camera shy. I've gone with a Tailspot Blenny, and there it is. These are very popular in the saltwater aquarium hobby. They naturally live in the western Pacific Ocean, and the more colourful ones tend to be the males. The Tailspot Blenny is only 2.5 inch, fully grown, so it should be okay, and the minimum tank size for this fish is 10 gallons, so about 10 gallons. My Red Sea Max Nano is 20 gallons, so it should be absolutely sufficient. And yeah, it can jump, so we've got the D&D lid, because little gobies and blennies can all jump, so we've got to keep this little guy safe. and 3 to 5 years they typically last for. I don't know how old this one is, and hopefully now. So the idea of this is in the next hour, roughly 1 hour, we're going to double the level of water. So once we've doubled the level of water, then the fish is ready to go into the tank. So he's going to sit there patiently waiting for his moment. But there's a nice little bit of dripping action. It's a really great bit of kit. So this little guy's been in here about an hour and I am really feeling for him, so we need to get him into the tank. But you do have to wait until your drip acclimation has at least doubled the water from the tank and the LFS water. It's all mixed in. I have noticed actually that he's changing colours, so he has changed a bit of colour in here. Hopefully that's a good sign as he's kind of acclimating. But there he is. Now these little blennies are notorious for being quite timid when they're first put into the aquarium, so it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see him for a couple of days or even a week whilst he settles into his new home. You've got to make sure you've got plenty of little hidey holes in the rockscape, especially for those first few days and week, just so that he can get used to his new home. What do you think to the new addition then? This is our 4th fish.
I think it's good.
It's a really good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think he's going to be full of character. Do you think he'll get on with our existing fish?
Yes, I think he will.
Hopefully, hopefully. Right, let's get him in then. Now they are known for jumping, so this is a bit of a worry. I'm just going to turn off the valve. Now I did have a suntail goby, I mean I still have got a suntail goby, but when I put him in the tank he actually jumped out of the acclimation pot, so I'm hoping this little guy doesn't do the same. So I've got the little safety net, and hopefully he will just go nicely into there without causing too much stress. So he's had a stressful day. Trying to ease him in. Oops. And there he is. So he's in the net. We'll get him quickly into here. Easy out, and there he goes. He's just gone round. I don't know if you can see. He's just gone round to the back where the Trachophilia coral is, and he's buried himself behind the little Trachophilia coral, and he's in there in his new home. And here he is. He's making himself at home. He's got a load of confidence. He's gone straight up to the female clowns. He's making himself welcome with the blood red shrimp. It's caused a bit of a stir on the reef, but what is a tank without a Blenny? Now I know the Midas Blennies are really awesome. They're kind of yellow with the blue eyes, very characterful fish, but they're just a little bit too big for this Red Sea Max Nano 20 gallon. He looks like he's having a bit of a clean. He is such a character. He normally sits on the top shelf of the aquascape, but he seems to have come down here to show his presence. He's about half the size of the clowns, but he's twice the personality, and he's not going to be pushed around at all. He gave us a little scare last night because I didn't know this, but these little Tailspot Blennies, when they go to sleep, they actually change colour and they go into their camouflage mode. So he kind of gets white spots and turns a little bit more bluish in colour, a bit more translucent, and apparently that's so that they match the rocks a bit more in the evening in case there's any predators. But he's been absolutely brilliant. I'm so happy with him. I did my research around which fish are really good for these little nanos, and this one came up time and time again. I know he's on Reef Dork's video for great little fish to have, great nano fish. And as I say, the little Midas Blenny was a bit too big, I think, for this tank, so we've gone with the Tailspot. Gets to about 2.5 inches in length, but about 5 inches in personality, so he's a great little character. Now with this TMC Aqua Reef Rock, there's loads of little hidey holes and little places he can peck at. As you can see, He's been busy pecking at the rocks and cleaning up any algae. If you've got any algae outbreaks, these fish are brilliant for cleaning up algae off the aquascape. Some of you might be a little bit disappointed because you probably thought I was getting a blue spot jawfish. Now, I would love one of those. I'd absolutely love a blue spot jawfish. Neil from Neil's Reef Aquarium, if you don't follow him, make sure you follow him on YouTube and Instagram. He's got a blue spot jawfish called Houdini. He's a great little character fish. But they are so tricky to keep. He's doing really well with his, I think he's had it about 3 or 4 months, but they're quite tricky to keep, and in captivity they don't tend to live very long, whereas the Tailspot Blenny, for a beginner like me in this little reef tank, I think is the perfect addition. But I'm sure you'll let me know. We don't have a name for him just yet, but he's made himself at home, and what a great little fish. I know what people mean now when they say you can't look at a Blenny without smiling. They look like they've got a little smile on their face, and it's put a great big smile on me and my family's face adding this little Tailspot Blenny to the tank. Now, he does seem to be getting a bit close, I don't know if you can see him there, to this anemone. I'm a bit worried that he's a bit too interested in it. I don't know why he keeps knocking around there, to be honest. He's got to be careful, I don't want him getting stung or anything. But there you can see him on the edge of the reef. Now, you're probably wondering what on earth I was doing on the Friday live stream last week. 30 minutes before I went on the live stream, I added the Tailspot Blenny to the tank, and he kept popping up on the camera, and I thought that one of you eagle-eyed YouTubers would have spotted that I had a different fish inside the tank and added that to the comments. So I was a bit worried. Also, I was a bit worried because it was the first time that the clowns had met the Tailspot Blenny, and I was worried about the interactions and what was going to happen, so I was constantly looking at the tank. I always look at my tank anyway on a live stream, but I was looking at it a little bit more because of that. Now, talking about live streams, if you missed that live stream last Friday, go check it out on Mogsys Aquarium channel. We had a special guest, which was Reef King. Reef King is an awesome YouTuber. I've put his channel in the description. He's a very knowledgeable reefer, and he has a very beautiful coral room. So if you're in the market for corals and you live down in the southeast of England, he's the guy that can really sort you out. Now, the live stream for next Friday coming up is on Bearded Reef's channel. Again, there's a link in the description. Go across, subscribe right now, get the notifications, get the beers, the gin and the wine ready for this Friday, 8 PM to 10 PM, all reefing chat. It's myself, Bearded Reef, Fishpalace and Mogsys Aquarium. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who follows the channel. You lot are absolutely brilliant. I appreciate every comment, every like, every subscription that you give me, either on Instagram or on YouTube. So genuinely, I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to go now. I've got work tomorrow. Not good. And I'm going to spend the last few hours with my family and enjoying this beautiful little reef. So for now, you lot take care. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.